You have to attend a party and you're wearing yellow. Let's do this eyeshadow look to complement your dress. First, I'm going to prime the eyes with Forever 52 concealer, and I'm going to be layering it very gently in a very thin layer. I'm going to be taking a damp beauty blender and blending it out. We want a thin layer so that it does not turn out to be cakey. Everything that we are going to be doing is going to be very gentle and is going to have very thin layers. That is what is going to make it look natural and beautiful. Here I'm using Huda baking powder to just set the base. Now I'm using Carnival XL Pro palette. Here the shades are funky and makeup. I've mixed both of them and I'm putting it on the outer corner of the eye. I'm pulling it into the crease, and as you will see, I will also be pulling it to the nose. Now for a mid-tone shade, I'm using the shade Basic from the same palette, and I'm just going to buff it out to neutralize the pinks that we have. Then to create depth, I'm using the shade Hall into the outer corner of the eye. Here it is going to give a very fox cat-like effect. I'm repeating the same technique on the next eye. Here you can see the shades really very clearly. I'm taking my time to lay down the colors. Now we are starting with the next step, which is the cut crease. I'm taking a flat brush and I'm applying the same Forever 52 concealer on the eyelids. As you can see, I'm creating a circular shape. I'm not extending it all throughout the eye. I'm just keeping it on the first half of the eyelid. As you can see, it is a very thin layer and we cannot blend this, so you have to be quite careful here. Then again, I'm going to set this with the baking powder. After this, I'm going to be taking the yellow color, which is the shade Keen in this palette, and I'm going to continue to layer it. Now yellow is a very light color, so we have to apply it at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 times depending upon how bright you want it. So as you can see, if you keep going on with it, it will get quite pigmented. Using a fluffy brush, I'm going to buff out both the colors. I'm going to merge them. I'm not using any extra color. Whatever was there on the brush, that is the same thing that's being used. Using Empowered by Huda Beauty, I'm using this shade called as Worthy. I'm creating a very thin wing eyeliner and then I'm going to buff it out. Now this is a lighter shade. It's almost like a dark brown. So I'm also going to be taking a darker shade in the same palette called as Purpose. I'm going to be winging it out only at the corner, so it's going to be really dark at the corners, and again I'm going to buff this out. So this is going to create a very sultry, foxy kind of look for the eyes. Now for the crease, I wanted to try the glitter liner out. As you can see, I'm not an expert, so I started with a thin line. It didn't look perfect, so I kept going on with it and it became quite thick, but eventually it looked pretty, so I let it be. I didn't remove it, I didn't try to go over it. So sometimes you see, art just creates itself. We can't help it, we just have to go along with it. So I'm using PAC's glitter liner here. This is the gold one. I'm also going to be using it on the wing just to give it an edge, because when she opens her eyes it will look like a continuous line. I'm focusing now on the eyebrows, just on the wings of the eyebrows, on the edges. I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade and I'm just going to fill in the gaps. The starting of the eyebrows I'm leaving as is so that it doesn't look very artificial. Using a spoolie, I'm just setting it up. Then on the lower lash line, I'm repeating the same colors I did on the eyelid. So we've got yellow, then the pinks, and then the browns and the blacks. The browns and the blacks are not the same that I've used above because that is from Huda's Empowered palette. Here I'm just using a powdered eyeshadow from any of the palettes that you have. So this is going to create continuity. After this, for the lower lash line, I'm using a white eye pencil. This is by Forever 52, yes. And You can use black kajal if you want, but I just wanted to use white because it opens up the eye. It makes it look quite modern. So that's the look we are going with. Following this, we are going to be curling our lashes so that the fake lashes that we will be applying sit on quite well. They don't look separate from each other. So now I'm applying Euro Paris's fake lashes, false lashes, and they are really subtle. They are of really good quality, so I would really recommend it. And this is our final look. As you can see, our model is also quite happy. She is looking absolutely gorgeous. Just look at her. I also would like you to tag me and follow me on Instagram, subscribe here, and if you do try this look, let me know. I'll share it on my story.